Hey, sports fans. This is Robert with WTP Sports Dudes. I just wanted to get on tonight and make a real quick video talking a little bit of college football. As you all know, summer workouts have ended and fall camp has started for teams like Florida State and Georgia Tech, who will be playing on August the 24th in Dublin, Ireland, kicking off the 2024 college football season. I know all of us football fans are excited that the college football season is going to be starting. We're very excited to get around all of our friends, talking football, watching games, and just having a good time congregating together. I know I'm excited and I'm looking forward to this college football season to see how well my Texas Longhorns do, to see how well some of my friends' teams do, and at the end of the season, hopefully all of our teams can make it into that 12-team playoff. If they don't, good season for you, but root on your friends' team as they continue to go on in that college football playoffs. I'm very excited about the rivalries that are going to take place this year towards the end of the season because most of those rivalry games are going to have huge implications on what's going to take place in those conference championships and implications on who's going to make it to the college football playoff at the end of the season. Games like Ohio State and Michigan, every year that game has some type of huge implication on what's going to happen between the winner and the loser. A game like Texas and Texas A&M, which is back this year after being gone for 12 years. I know all Texas fans and all Texas A&M fans are excited about this rivalry returning, and we're both hoping that we're on the winning end of that game. I know I hope my Longhorns pull it out because that game probably will decide if we can go to the SEC championship game or not, or even make it into the college football playoff. And I know as a Texas A&M hater, I don't want them to beat us and keep us from making it into the playoffs or keep us from making it to the SEC championship game. I want us to beat them Aggies at the end of the year, and I also want us to beat them Oklahoma Sooners. Those are our two rivalries. Now we know Arkansas trying to build that rivalry back up with my Texas Longhorns, but they need to go sit down somewhere because they ain't ready for the Texas Longhorns. Even though they dusted us the last time we played them, they dusted us. But we're trying to get some get back this year. Also, we're going to be playing against teams like Georgia, Florida. Now I know everybody say Florida ain't going to be that good this year, but listen, they have talent on that roster. And they can beat anybody on any given Saturday. They can beat anybody on any given Saturday because they got talent on that team. Their record might not be great at the end of the year because they probably have the toughest schedule in college football. If you go look at that Florida schedule, you're probably going to see at least 6 or 7 losses that you think that they're going to have on that schedule because it is a grueling schedule, a very, very grueling schedule. But I think that if they could win a couple of games early in the season and be around 4-2, they might be able to win 6 games and make it into a bowl game at the end of the season. But they got a lot of work ahead of them to get there. But back to my Texas Longhorns. Listen, I think our big test is going to be in week 2 against those Michigan Wolverines. Now, we all know what Michigan's defense looks like. Man, listen, they're probably the number one defense in the country. Their front seven is something serious, especially those two defensive tackles, and they got good guys on the edges. And they also got a good safety, and they probably got the number one corner in the country. Their defense is going to bring it this year and going to keep them in every single game. I'm hoping that week 2, Texas can open it up and get those guys spread out to where we can get some running lanes and we can take that game into the fourth quarter and pull it out like we did last year against Alabama. We also got another big game against the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, during that stretch, we got Oklahoma and then we get Georgia. You already know what it's like when Texas and Oklahoma play. When they play, they leave it all out on the field. and have to go and play a team like Georgia following that game, that is tough. That's going to be a tough 2 game stretch for my Texas Longhorns. But if we can come out of that thing 1-1 and also have beaten Michigan, we'll be looking good. But if we got 2 losses at that point, man, that ain't looking too good. We might have to be one of them teams that lose 3 games and get into the college football playoffs. Hopefully, at that point, we're either undefeated or only with 1 loss. But that's 2 tough challenges right there with Michigan and Georgia. But our backstretch of the season is pretty cupcakeish until we get to Texas A&M, because we know whenever you play in your rivalry team, you can pretty much throw everything out the door because that game is going to be a tough game whenever you're playing against your rivals. I'm also excited to see what the hometown Buckeyes are going to do. Now they got a quarterback in Will Howard that's from the Big 12, and he's really he's not that good. In my opinion, he's really not that good. But in a Ryan Day system, he might be able to do some things. So I'm excited to see what he does early on in the season. If they can get him in rhythm, the ball in the hands of those playmakers. Now they got a 2-headed monster at running back. They probably got the best running back tandem in the country, and they're going to have to hand that ball off to those 2 guys a lot this season, and then help Will Howard out with some short passes, things of that nature, so that Ohio State can do what they got to do offensively in that Ryan Day system. But they are also going to have one of the best defenses in the country as well, because they're returning some serious, serious talent on that defensive side of the ball. So I'm excited to see how that game goes. I know Michigan is going to try to pound the rock on everybody that they play because their quarterback isn't proven yet. He's a newcomer. He's been there in the system for a year, but he's going to be a first-time starter, and he's not that good at passing the ball yet. Now, of course, in that system, he'll eventually get there, but this being his first year, he's going to take some lumps. But that running game, because Michigan is a physical team, they're going to try to run it down teams' throats. Also, I'm looking forward to that Ohio State and Oregon game. That might be a track meet, Joe. That might be a straight up track meet. And I think the winner of that game will probably represent the Big Ten in the college football playoffs, along with another team probably getting in there. I really can see 2 or 3 Big Ten teams getting in there, and I can see 2 or 3 SEC teams getting in there, and then, of course, all the other conference champions out of the ACC and out of the Big 12. But I think that this college football season is going to be exceptional because I don't think anybody's going undefeated. If somebody goes undefeated, man, listen, the grace of God was straight up on them in order for them to go undefeated, because this is a grueling schedule. Plus, you got to think about it now. Listen to this. Listen, the college football playoffs can take you to 16, 17 games. Now, listen to me. If you have to play in the first round and you win, that's 1 game, on top of the 12 or 13 games you already played during the regular season. And if you win that second game, that's 2 more games. Now you have 14 or 15 games. And if you win that third game, now you're adding another game. Now you're at 15, 16 games. And then if you win the championship, depending on if you play 12 or 13 regular season games, that's like an NFL schedule, yo. An NFL schedule. And we all know, NFL fans, we all know, a 16, 17 game season can leave some people hurt and on the bench and on the IR, because football is just a rugged sport. And it's going to be very difficult for any team to go unscathed in this college football season. In fact, I believe teams are going to do this year. If they believe they got a serious chance to make it to the college football playoffs, they're going to find themselves where they're in a position to make it into the college football playoff. They might rest their good players, their starters, like they do in the NFL, when they know they're going to make it into that college football playoff. And they can take an L as long as they can rest their good players to run that stretch in that playoff. I really can see teams doing that here in 2024, especially when they go to 16 teams in a couple of years. They're really going to be doing it then. Going undefeated will probably be unheard of again, like it is in the NFL. You know, the last team to ever do it in the NFL was who? The Miami Dolphins, right? And it ain't happened since. It's virtually impossible when you're going to be playing that many games in a season to go undefeated, especially with the injuries that these players sustain playing this rugged, rough sport of football. So I'm very excited about this college football season. I'm glad I was able to get on this evening. I can't wait to get on with some of my friends to talk ball because that's what we do, baby. We talk ball. We just love this game so much. We've been playing it for many, many years. We've been watching it for many, many years. And we're just excited for this college football season. So, everybody get ready for college football season 2024. And remember this, hook 'em.